guest today is going to share about her story, the health challenge she has learned to handle, and how she has turned that challenge into a growing business, making her one of Abilene's women entrepreneurs. Now, at the conclusion of the talk, there'll be an opportunity to ask her questions. So you will find slips of paper on your table on which to write the questions. And since we're limited to one microphone, I will pick up the questions at the end of her talk and then read them to her, and she'll share her answers with you. Now, Abilene is fortunate to have several bakeries in this area. They do have lots of goodies, don't they, especially at this time of year. But Michele Kirkland is the proprietor of one of these bakeries, yet she holds the distinction of owning the only gluten-free bakery in Abilene. She produces and sells a variety of gluten-free foods that she makes from scratch every day, from lovely gluten-free cakes to a variety of delicious pizzas. The selection is wide and generous. Today she has brought a tray filled with a few of those selections, and you'll see how generous they are. You know, the percentage of the population needed to adhere to a gluten-free diet seems to be growing over the years. And I first experienced that with when my granddaughter, who's now 20, was 5 years old, and she just had a sudden allergic reaction to some pancakes, and it had changed her life forever. She has an allergy to it. You know, there are many reasons for health reasons for having being unable to eat gluten, and I'm sure Michele will speak to that. But Ada's was just an allergic. She just all of a sudden was allergic to it, and it's very, very critical situation. Well, Michele is on a mission to help solve the problem for those in our community who cannot eat gluten. So if you will help me welcome Michele, we'll appreciate that.
Okay, thank you all so much for having me. Good morning. I'm going to try to get through this as easily as possible. I'm a very passionate soul, so bear with me. It's an honor to speak to a room full of strong, community-minded women. My name's Michele. I'm the owner of Southern Delights by Michele, Abilene's only 100% dedicated gluten-free bakery. Today I want to share a message about purpose, resilience, and new beginnings. My story is still being written, and like many of you, it's full of twists, challenges, and unexpected blessings. My hope is that something in my journey speaks to you, encourages you, or reminds you of your own strength. I grew up eating all the Southern foods that many of us love: biscuits, gravy, Sunday pot roast, homemade tortillas, beans, rice. I'm from Texas, so every kind of comfort food our grandmothers made with love. So food meant family connection. Some of my most cherished memories are in the kitchen with my grandparents. One taught me fine, elegant dishes like stuffed pears and cherry cheesecake. The other, she taught me hearty, comforting Southern classics like beans and cornbread. That was our favorite, and fried potatoes. So, and just thinking about it makes me tear up. But those moments shaped me long before I ever realized why that mattered. But behind all of that was a sickness that we didn't understand. So throughout my childhood and into adulthood, I battled stomach pain, reflux, bloating, constant illness. But I pushed through it, like women often do, because life doesn't stop just because we don't feel well, right? So Everything changed after one dinner in my 20s that led to a very severe illness. I got food poisoned by a lobster. I lost so much weight that I dropped down to 67 pounds.
Oh my God.
I didn't know if I was going to make it, didn't know if I would survive. So doctors tested me for everything under the sun, and each misdiagnosis felt like another door closing. But finally, a doctor asked me a simple question: what happens when you eat wheat? And you know, this was after 10 doctors in 2 different states. After that, the question changed my life. So after more testing, I was diagnosed with celiac disease 25 years ago. That diagnosis, as frightening as it was, became a turning point. In the early 2000s, gluten-free options were nearly non-existent. A grocery store felt like a maze, things that I couldn't even eat. But through tears and overwhelming moments, I found purpose. I began advocating. I helped bring gluten-free products to stores. Even the United Market Street in Wichita Falls was one of the first places that had gluten-free options due to my help. I started a support group in Wichita Falls. I worked with restaurants. I educated people about cross-contamination, and they strongly and safely, sorry, I can't read very well, I've got a cataract in my eye, and safety long before it was widely understood. And then came a moment I'll never forget. I was doing a presentation at that United Market Street. We were doing a gluten-free pizza, and an elderly woman cried when she tasted gluten-free pizza for the first time in 30 years. That was the moment I knew what I was doing mattered. And of course, that was 25 years ago. That food could be more than comfort. It could be healing, safety, freedom, and dignity. And then a moment came I'll never, ever forget, is whenever I had my daughter. And I found out that she has the gene that I carry with celiac. Unfortunately, she has not developed full-blown celiac yet, but it's just amazing how this is a genetic disease and it has to be taken very seriously. But celiac is often called the silent disease. People may look fine on the outside, but suffer very quietly. Many women in this room may know what that feels like, pushing through pain because life demands it, not because of how we feel. Years later, after personal transformation, career changes, family shifts, and redefining what truly matters, I felt an old calling return. My passion for food, cooking, photography, and creating comfort became more than hobbies. It became a direction for me. That direction led to Southern Delights by Michele. Opening a bakery wasn't simple. Starting a business later in life comes in with unique challenges. I never would have thought that at 47 years old, I'm 48 now, actually 46, that I would be starting a whole new career after a very successful career in sales. But yeah, we were challenged financially, emotionally, physically, mentally. I had fears. I worried people wouldn't come. I worried if I could handle it physically. I have fibromyalgia on top of my celiac disease. I had to learn everything from packaging to pricing to supply chain issues to marketing. I faced the realities of doing it all while navigating autoimmune conditions and the exhaustion that comes with that. But passion has a way of giving us strength that we didn't know we had. So every day I meet people who walk in the bakery with the same fear I once felt. Is there a safe place for me? When they realize everything in my bakery is 100% gluten-free, their shoulders drop. They breathe. They feel safe again. They feel seen. Women come in who haven't eaten a cinnamon roll in 10, 20, 30 years. Children come in with allergies who have never been able to order anything in a bakery before, even a birthday cake. Military families come in grateful that someone understands cross-contamination and takes it seriously. These moments remind me of why I do this. Let me share a little education because many people still don't understand celiac. It's not an allergy, it's an autoimmune disorder. Even a crumb of gluten can trigger a reaction that damages the small intestine. Cross-contamination is not a preference. It's a risk. Dedicated equipment, separate work areas, vigilant practices are essential for safety. When you hear people say, just pick off the bread or a little bit won't hurt, that comes with a huge misunderstanding. But education changes everything. Starting a bakery meant creating a space where people don't have to explain themselves, a space where no one has to worry if they're going to get sick after they eat, a space where families with dietary restrictions can celebrate birthdays, holidays, and everyday moments without fear. Running the bakery while managing my health challenges has taught me resilience in a new way. A space where no one, sorry, I'm rereading it. I do have that cataract. Sorry. I need to get that fixed. Some mornings the alarm goes off and my body begs for rest. But I remember why I started this. I remember that purpose is often born from pain. I remember the people counting on me for a safe place to eat today. And that gets me up. So, entrepreneurship, especially as a woman, requires courage. We juggle families, health, finances, emotions, expectations, and responsibilities nonstop. But we also have the unique ability to transform those challenges into compassion, leadership, and service. If there's anything I've learned, it's this. You're never too old, never too tired, too behind, or too broken to start something new. Purpose doesn't care about age. Calling doesn't check your resume. And reinvention's always possible. So today, if you take anything with you from me, I hope it's this. Your story matters. Your resilience matters. And whatever you've walked through can become something meaningful, something that helps others. Southern Delights by Michele wasn't created out of perfect circumstances. It was created out of struggle, hope, faith, and a desire to make life sweeter and safer for those who need it most. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my story with you and share my heart with you today. It's truly an honor, and I hope that you'll stop by our bakery sometime, not just for a treat, but to experience what it means to enjoy life again, one gluten-free bite at a time.
Where is the bakery?
So our bakery is now located next to Hobby Lobby. If you're facing Hobby Lobby, we are 2 doors down on the right underneath the big new sushi sign. I can't afford a sign, but they can, so I just point at the sushi sign and say we're right underneath it.
Have you seen any restaurants in our area that handle cross-contamination well, or do you know of any that are
So,
a safe place?
and here's what I tell everybody. I also do consulting. So, anytime a celiac, for instance, like me, if I go out to eat anywhere, I'm playing Russian roulette every single time. One day, I could go and they might be following proper procedures and state, oh yes, we do have gluten-free options, or a gluten-friendly menu, things like that. And I might not get sick that first time, but I go back a second time and maybe they didn't do it the same way, or maybe suppliers changed. There's always that chance of cross-contamination. So I don't like to advertise any specific restaurants. I actually used to have a tester, it's called a NEMA, and I would take that with me to restaurants. And one time I would go to this particular restaurant and it would test safe with no gluten, but then the next time I would test it, maybe something changed, and then it would have gluten and I would have to send it back. And I've done this multiple times, so I just say you're taking a risk when you go out to eat, unless you're at a dedicated facility like what I have. We have pizzas now, we have casseroles that include lasagna, chicken pot pie, shepherd's pie, enchilada casserole, macaroni and cheese, and we do pizzas all throughout the week. So I know we have a limited menu and not exactly what people are wanting, but we don't have a Vin-A-Hood. We can only bake, so everything that I do has to be baked at this time. Hopefully one day we can do that. But definitely need to talk to a manager, whenever you go to a restaurant, let them understand. It's hard for them to understand what we're dealing with here. So I usually say I have an allergy, even though it's not an allergy. That's what people understand. They take it more seriously. So I wish I could say there's some place you can go and it's safe, but you risk it every time. I do it. It's hard because you want to be social. You want to have a life with everybody, and you just do the best you can. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
What are your hours?
Okay, so our hours are going to be Tuesday through Thursday, 7:30 to 6 p.m. Friday, 7:30 to 8 p.m. Saturday is 9 to 8 p.m. Sunday, 12 to 5. Now, Mondays, we're closed, but we're really open. We leave the door unlocked because that's our baking day, that we really try to get everything replenished from the weekend. We bake fresh every day, but that's really our huge baking day on Monday, but I never turn anybody away on a Monday. So we're pretty much open all the time. Yes, ma'am.
My granddaughter, I told you, was celiac.
Yes.
But she also has a dairy allergy.
Yes.
Not lactose.
Right.
But dairy.
Correct.
So do you accommodate?
Yes. Anything that we do can be made dairy-free. Now, we do offer some options. All of our cupcakes, we have 7 different flavors right now. Those are all going to be dairy-free as well. Our oatmeal Sammys, which are these are one of our most popular items because growing up, I loved getting those little Debbie
Yes.
oatmeal, what are they called? Oatmeal cream pies. Oatmeal cream pies. So we had to call them something different. So we call them oatmeal Sammys. These are made with a plant-based butter as well as oat milk. We don't use almond in anything because we have too many people that also have nut allergies. So this is safe as far as dairy. We do a dairy-free pizza on request, and then we do custom orders as well. So anything that she would want that's in our bakery that we don't have dairy-free can be made to be dairy-free as well. And I also cater to diabetic diets. So we can do, we use monk fruit as a substitute, but those are done by custom order only as well. So we can do cinnamon rolls, all of it. So yeah, we try to accommodate every allergy because we understand what it's like to go without. And we don't want that for anybody. We want to provide that safe haven no matter what that allergy might be. Yes, ma'am.
You may have already answered it and I was too busy writing.
It's okay.
Do they discover your celiac, is that even?
Yes, ma'am.
Through a blood test?
So, 2 years of suffering, 10 different doctors, 2 different states.
I heard all that.
Yes, ma'am. But I'm trying to make it, this is a typical diagnosis for someone. So basically what they do initially is they will do a blood test to see if your antibodies are elevated. And in order for that to happen, you must be ingesting gluten. So if you're avoiding it, you're not going to be able to get you might get a false negative. So the true test is a biopsy. They go in an endoscopy, upper GI, and they will do biopsies on your small intestine to see if your villi or villi are damaged. That's the true tell sign of celiac disease. So yes, you can have a blood test if you're eating gluten. That may be suggestive. My numbers were skyrocketed because at the time I didn't know. And so I was eating gluten. I was eating Eggos, saltines, all those things that were comfort food, and it was killing me.
So babies are not automatically tested for, like they are for some women. Do they have gluten-free formulas for infants?
Yes, they do. A lot of the formulas are gluten-free now. But that's definitely something you would have to constantly monitor. Just like any commercial product that you purchase, that's one thing that I've gotten really good at is reading labels. And thankfully, in the last 5 years, they did come out with the top 8 allergens to be listed, and wheat is one of those. So it's very easy to go purchase an item now and find out, is this safe for me to eat? Even there's gluten-free symbols on some of the items now that are certified gluten-free, and those are the ones I really look for, and that's what we use in our bakery. So we know there's no chance for cross-contamination from the supplier. Those are dedicated facilities providing the ingredients for our bakery. But another thing to consider is if you are a baby or having issues, they can do a genetic test. That's not going to tell you, yes, you have celiac or not, but it can tell you if you have the genetic markers. So like my daughter, she does have, there's 2 different genetic markers that you can have for celiac. She has one of them, so she has a 50% chance of developing it at some point. And typically that gene can lie dormant in your body for years, unless it's activated by a stressor. Mine was food poisoning. It could be as simple as a pregnancy, the flu. They found that all kinds of things can trigger that gene. So you just never know.
Any more questions?
I have a question. I have a friend who is extremely dedicated to being gluten-free.
Yes.
She makes her own laundry detergent.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So you must not do that.
So,
Reaction.
no ma'am, I do not. However, there is a chemical response to some people. It's called DH, which is short for dermatitis herpetiformis. That is a skin condition that is associated with celiac disease. And I'm so blessed and fortunate not to have to deal with that. But a lot of people do, and that's how they're diagnosed, because it's a rare skin condition that is only found with celiac disease. You get a bunch of red spots, rashes, very painful, all throughout the body. I've seen pictures of people that have had this, and it's very scary. So yes, there are people that have to watch the lotions and all of that, and honestly, I do watch like shampoos and things like that, because if I'm taking a bath and I'm sitting in wheat, that's not good. Even like if you're in a facility, let's just say a pizza place that's throwing flour around and all of that, if I were to walk back in there, get that air into my lungs, it can still go in the back of your throat and get into your body. There's a lot of things that you don't realize that can affect you, as simple as that. So,
I have a question.
yes, ma'am.
In your research, did you come across any reasons why someone who was raised like you, Southern baking whole life, and at 77, 78, all of a sudden can't eat gluten and can't have dairy?
Right.
And everything I love is gluten.
I know.
But yeah, I never had any problem with it until a year and a half ago.
Right.
Do you know what?
There's really no way to know exactly why that happens. Just like I was describing before, if you did have the celiac gene, it's a possibility that it lied dormant in your system for a very long time, and then something activated it. It could have been something very simple, like I said, the flu, COVID, whatever, I'm not a doctor, but I tell you, being diagnosed back then, I knew more by my own research and having to learn how to survive than most doctors could tell me, or even dietitians at that point, because when I would go in and speak with a dietitian hoping they would give me answers, I was giving them more information than they had to give to me. So that's why when I say I do my consulting, I always say I'm not a doctor, but I've had a lot of experience, 25 years of research, and having to learn, I'm still here, having to learn how to live with this disease and push through. But there's just a lot of people that have come up with extreme sensitivities. I don't know if it's the way that our food is processed and bioengineered. There's a lot of different theories on why that happens, but there's so many people now that have multiple food allergies. If you look at my list of my last test, I have about 4 columns of foods that I'm supposed to avoid because my body responds to each one of those, including eggs. But I still eat them. I just eat in moderation. It's not like I have an anaphylactic experience or response. but definitely have to eat certain foods in moderation. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
What you were talking about, bioengineering and
Yes.
everything. In my research for my granddaughter, I found that our wheat these days has like 90% more gluten than it did 60 or 70 years ago. And that's why we're seeing so much celiac.
Yes.
Just the fact that we know about celiac now, but still.
Right, and I've heard a lot of people say when I go to Europe, not necessarily a celiac, but let's just say someone that's gluten sensitive. They can't eat gluten here in the US, but they can go to Europe and eat gluten there and they feel just fine. They don't have the same reaction. And it's more of a natural way in Europe, is from what I've learned as well. Not saying I would ever go over there and eat. I didn't. I've traveled there many times. They did have a lot more options, but still, I would not dare eat anything with gluten in it. I'm sick for weeks. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I'll probably have two questions, but my friend is gluten intolerant, but she can eat the semolina wheat in Italy. And I've ordered 4 or 5 different packages of semolina. 1 out of the 4 was acceptable to her diet.
Oh, interesting.
So you look at the wheat packages in the United States, it's hard red wheat, all of them, the better of the worse. I have 2 questions. How does what you're talking about affect a diabetic? You talked about monk.
So I was stating that we do have sugar-free options where we use monk fruit as the sugar substitute. Celiac disease and other autoimmune conditions, to include diabetic or diabetes, do go hand in hand at some point. I'm actually hypoglycemic. I'm not diabetic at this point. I've learned to manage that. I used to have to wear a monitor all the time. But after about 6 months of that, I learned what spiked me, what kept me level, and now I'm able to do my diet without the monitoring. But not everyone that has celiac disease has a blood sugar issue. Everybody's body responds differently. And I mean, I know people that have Hashimoto's and celiac, or they have Crohn's and celiac, or me, I get migraines, I have hypoglycemia, I've got fibromyalgia. I mean, it just goes down the list. But everybody's body responds differently. It's not necessarily, yes, you have celiac, you're gonna have blood sugar issues.
When you go to a restaurant and you know you're in a world of contamination,
Yes.
what is safe to order? Salad and potatoes, or?
So I try to stick to, and you have to be careful with salads. I mean, even you think, okay, a salad's gonna be safe. I've even had where you say, okay, can you please make me that without croutons, for instance? And they'll bring it out with croutons anyway. And then you say, I can't have this. I asked for no croutons. And then they take it back. They peel the croutons off of the salad. They bring it back. I see the crumbs still in my dressing. That's not safe. Another thing is, you always have to make sure that the dressings that they're putting on the salad are gluten-free. So there's some places that have ranch, that's my favorite, that contain gluten, and there's some that don't. Any of your Asian type dressings that could contain soy sauce, they're probably not going to be safe because of, the soy sauce. You have to have gluten-free soy sauce that's made well, like with tamari, for instance. Like, I can't just go to an Asian restaurant and get something because it has soy sauce on it. Or you don't even think about it, but you could go get fajitas and they put soy sauce on the fajita meat to cook it. So there's so many things you have to think about. That's why you always need to talk to a manager whenever you order, if you're a celiac, at any restaurant. And what was the second question? I'm kind of up on that.
What on a menu would be served?
So I try to stick with grilled items. Excuse me, I will ask if there's any type of marinade that I need to be concerned about, if there's any type of seasoning, because even seasonings can contain gluten. So there's some places that will only grill a piece of meat on a piece of foil and not put any seasonings at all. And it's not very tasty. So, and I'm a big foodie. I'm kind of a gourmet cook. So if you ever look at my Instagram, I've got a ton of gourmet food. So like when I go to a restaurant, my expectations are here, and I can only eat this, you know. So sometimes it's not worth going out to eat. Not only because it's a possible contamination where I could get sick, but also it's just not very tasty. So that's why I try to bring different options to the bakery so we can still enjoy some things.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Anything else?
Wonder what we're eating today.
Probably won't be excited.
Tell us what's on your tray.
So on my tray today, we have just a few of our selections. So we have this is our new cookies. These are our pumpkin bread and our banana bread bliss cookies. These do have, it's almost like a bread-like consistency on the cookie. We have it's a buttercream that we use that's plant-based on top. We do have butter in the cookies, but we only do the plant-based cream, buttercream that's fabulous. We put a caramel drizzle on the banana, and then on the pumpkin, we just put pecans and a little bit of cinnamon. Our oatmeal sammy, which I've already talked to you about. This is our strawberry cupcake. Strawberry cake in general, for someone with a gluten intolerance, you can't just go to the store and buy a cake mix that's strawberry anywhere. So we love our strawberry cake and our strawberry cupcakes, and people adore it. And then we offer several types of cheesecake. This is our pecan with it's almost like a praline topping. It's fabulous. So we do several types of cheesecake to include honey bun, regular, we've done a blueberry, lemon, and then we also have our premium cheesecakes, which are 3-layer cheesecakes. We do a cheesecake in the middle, surrounded by 2 layers of cake on the outside. We do a red velvet, a pecan, a cinnamon bun, and then on the outside it has a fabulous cream cheese buttercream that's to die for. But these are just a few of the items that I brought today. We have cookies, brookies, pumpkin bread. We do breads and rolls by custom order only. We do cakes. I'm telling you, we have all kinds of stuff.
Do you have special Christmas?
Yes, we're going to be coming out with our Christmas menu this week, actually. We launched a few items this week. We have a second location out at Dias Air Force Base, so we're in the food court right now. So we're full-time out there right now. We just started Uber Eats delivery today, and then we'll have our Christmas menu by the end of the week posted. Typically, like for Thanksgiving, we did stuffing. I did 9 huge pans of that. And I make a really good sage stuffing. It's really good. We do pecan pies. We do pumpkin pies, rolls, cinnamon rolls. And we have 3 different types of cinnamon rolls right now that's available. So we're just expanding all the time with our menu. People love it.
So to find out your Christmas, how do we do that?
So if you have social media, you can follow us on Facebook. I will be posting that. If you come into our bakery, we will have the flyer posted as well. We have our website, which is southerndelightsbymichele.com or glutenfreeabilene.com. You can go to either one of those and it will point you to our website. We will have it posted there as well. My Instagram, all of that will be on my business card over here. So.
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So I guess that you're not up to like catering events like this yet, or do you do this?
Yes, we've catered several events. We recently did a grand opening celebration for Fullerton and Associates. We did all of their desserts. And the biggest one that we did was actually cheesecake bars for the Chamber Small Business Awards luncheon. We provided over, was it 400 bars of cheesecake. So that was amazing. And we've done small weddings. Yeah, we can do any of that. So.
Okay, and also like of our collection of grocery stores.
Yes.
Is there one particular, like United HB, that has the biggest selection of gluten-free products?
That's the fun part about being a celiac. Is so I like Market Street quite a bit. They're a little pricey, but then I do get some things at Walmart. They're starting to carry a lot of things as well at a cheaper rate. But Natural Grocers has a few items. They're a little pricey as well. And Drug Emporium has a ton of options. I love Drug Emporium. But I do, like for the bakery, we go through Webstront, we go through Amazon, we go to Sam's and get a lot of our products there. So I wish there was just one place that we could get everything. But we're always constantly traveling, delivering from everywhere, all over town.
So what about Aldi?
Aldi does have some items. I'm not a big fan.
I've never been in Aldi. I know a lot of people just love Aldi, but.
Yeah, the items that I've tried so far, in my personal opinion, aren't the best. But they do have some, and everyone has a different taste, right? So some people may like something that I don't, but I've just been at this for so long that I kind of know what's good and what's not. So that's one of the reasons I do consulting. I've actually gone out with people on shopping trips and taken them around town and shown them, okay, here's where you get this, here's where you get that. And it's pretty fun. Showing the newbies how to do
They
it.
have a whole area for gluten-free things.
They do. I forgot about HEB. They do have some items. They don't carry everything, but yes, they do carry some items that are pretty good. Yes, ma'am.
So you do trust the ones that are professionally made more so maybe
Yes.
than your bakery made things? I'm not saying they, meaning HEB or United, I'm just saying
Yeah.
across the board.
So if it's labeled properly and it's got the gluten-free symbol on it, that's what I feel most comfortable with. You always have to read labels. So like, for instance, if you want to go get chicken salad from United, I've been able to do that without getting sick. But you have to read, there's like 50 ingredients in just the chicken salad alone. So for me, it's easier just to make it myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably better.
Yeah. It does taste a little better.
What does this symbol look like?
So it looks like a little G, and it makes a little circle, and it says, and then there's also another one. I wish I had those with me so I could show you, but it's Celiac Foundation, CFA. So there's like, I'm trying to think of one product. So Oreos. There's gluten-free Oreos. We actually use those in our bakery. If you look at the gluten-free Oreo package, you'll find the little G symbol. So next time you're in the store, just look for that, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But those are dairy-free as well.
I know, they're yummy.
Yes. So we make our cookies and cream cupcakes with those, which a lot of people don't know when they come in. They say, "Well, that's dairy-free." Yes. So, yeah.
And most places will have an orange sign on their pricing, like United will have, the little price strip, it'll say gluten-free. Orange, it's an orange sign.
Yes, that does help, but
I mean, that's
still
not
look
everything,
at,
but-
yeah, I still look because there's been people that have put gluten-free items right next to things that weren't gluten-free, and I picked it up, took it home, and I was like, oh, that's not gluten-free. So you have to be careful. Always double check the ingredients.
Go ahead.
So in your bakery, do you have a place to eat there, or
Yes.
you do?
Yes, we have, it's small, but we have 4 tables that are high tops, and people come in there all the time with their family, and they'll eat, like after church, they come in and get pizza that we have left from Friday, or they'll get cinnamon rolls for dessert or some cheesecake or whatever. We have coffee. Yeah, it's nice.
So you can't come in there and have like macaroni and cheese, you don't?
So the macaroni and cheese we don't carry every day. We do have the 4 different types of casseroles that I mentioned before: the shepherd's pie, enchilada casserole, lasagna. What did I miss?
Chicken pot pie.
Chicken pot pie. So yes, we have those in singles. They're $9 each. They're pretty nice sized, and I do all that homemade. Even the crust is homemade. So there are days that we run out. So earlier in the week is usually the best time to get those. We freeze them and bring them out fresh every day. That way they don't ever go bad. So yes, ma'am.
Do you ever sleep?
Have you seen the bags under my eyes? I haven't slept in 2 years since I started this business.
My question goes along with that.
Yes, ma'am.
With your long hours, how many employees do you hire?
Right now, I only have 2 employees.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't sleep either?
Not really. I'm blessed to have very passionate girls. There was a time when we moved from our old location to the new location, we were down for almost 2 months. And during that time, my employees stuck by me, and they didn't take a paycheck. They're dedicated. They believe in what we're doing. They see the difference that we make in people's lives. I had a girl come in a couple weeks ago, young girl. She is having a very difficult time with her diagnosis, to the point where she's contemplated taking her own life. And so I've managed to develop a relationship with her to where she's turned her thought process around about this, and I'm helping her get through it. So you can't put a price on that. It's worth losing sleep. It's worth taking a pay cut, to help people through this. So I'm sorry, I get real emotional. I'm very passionate about what I do.
Well, it sounds like it's a wonderful business, but it's expanded into a ministry.
Yes, ma'am.
So
That's correct.
Double